Hi everybody, thanks for coming. So I prepared a little video, it's not very long, and I just finished it like 5 minutes ago, so I haven't even really seen it on full screen on my laptop yet, so I'm hoping for the best. And I will just kind of talk my way through it. The theme for this luncheon is transitions, because I've gone through one. It started about 3.5 years ago. It started with music. Thomas took me to Budapest. He took our whole family actually to Budapest, and because I had resumed going to Mass with my dad in the last few years of his life, I got used to it, and hadn't done it for a long time, but I got used to it again. And so I said, well, where can I go to Mass? And he put us up in a beautiful little boutique hotel on Cathedral Hill overlooking the Danube. And the cathedral there was where I went to Mass for the next 2 Sundays. So picture this, little American woman sitting in this church. They start Mass and it's in Latin. And the priest, tall, elegant fellow, did his homily in Hungarian. And I speak neither, nor understand at the time, neither of those languages. So I just went along with things and was loving the scenery because it was a gorgeous, gorgeous cathedral. And then the music started, and I fell in love. So that music brought me back home to look for a Latin Mass, because I wanted that music in my life. And I found this place, 10 minutes from our home. It's one of the 2 in the state of Colorado that offer the Latin Mass. And when I first went there, it didn't look like that, but I'll tell you about that later. Because what I want to tell you about now are Santos. And this is where I'm transitioning to, at least partially. Santos is a figure built on a cage, sometimes like you see here. Or, this is another view of a different kind. There's another one with this cage with a beautiful base underneath. This is a Santos that's probably got a wooden body and is articulated. And here you see my first attempt to work in clay in 5 years. And so I'm just taking you through some early stages. I didn't start it with the love of clay, I didn't think about that, but this is part of the progression. Went to arms. You can see that right arm there is very undeveloped. And this is Thomas making the cage for me. I knew I wanted it to be 26 to 30 inches tall. And stages of painting. And then putting the thing together with wire. And that is, the white parts are felt, wool felt. And then piecing the costume together on the figure. I didn't use many patterns for that. And that's how this came to be. And this is the first one-of-a-kind piece I've done in, would you say about 20 years? Something like that. It's been a while. So this is the direction that I want to take with my work. I listen almost exclusively to this kind of music, but this music is by Palestrina, by the way. I didn't, oh, you can turn it off now too. I couldn't get the end title done. I kept cutting the music off, so I said, forget it. But anyway, the music is by Palestrina. It's called Gregorian Chant. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them. Otherwise...
Where is it in Denver? Where is the church in Denver?
Of the church. It's in Littleton.
Yeah.
It's just right off of Littleton Boulevard. You know Denver, right? Yeah.
Well, we lived in Littleton for
okay, right.
12 or 15 years.
Do you know where Drink Wine Mortuary is?
Yes.
Right behind there. Yeah, we're right behind the Drink Wine Mortuary. It's a little bit off the beaten track, actually. I lived there most of my life in Littleton, and I never knew it was there until I came back from Budapest and found it on the internet.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, and when I first started to go there, when I first found it, I walked in and you couldn't see the altar. There was scaffolding in front of it. Some people like to call the church Our Lady of Perpetual Renovation. But it has undergone a lot of renovation. And this is pretty much what it looks like now, but it's still not finished. We've been able to watch 2 young artists to do all the decoration of the walls that were inspired by a British architect and artist named Pugin. And I think the plan is to go back all the way. Right now, only the sanctuary is done. So, any other questions?
So you want to concentrate on this now?
Yes.
This is what you're seeing?
This is what, actually, I started thinking about doing something. I've been collecting images for probably 5 years now of men, because I like making men. I do. I just really love sculpting men. And I've done quite a few one-of-kinds of men in the past. But I wanted to do a series called Seraphim. So this is Seraphim. I always want to call him Hunter also, because it turns out, I didn't mean this to happen, but it turns out that he looks like one of the young men in our church. It just happens. But I want to make I wanted to do at least 3 of them, but now, since I found out that there are actually 7, I have to do 7, of course. And then I want to move on to other kind of religious figures. Maybe smaller, maybe not all this big.
What is the significance of this? Is that a spear he's holding?
That's a spear.
And is that the evil? Is that the idea?
I believe the seraphim are guardians of the highest. They are the highest rank of angels. And so it's probably their job to at least look like they're, because I mean, God doesn't really need a guardian. That's the significance of it to me. And then in this little hand, he's got a candle, but I'm not going to light it because I don't want to set the place on fire. And I told Thomas that I needed a light in that hand, and he said, well, you should have told me sooner. And indeed I should have, because next time, and maybe I'll just redo that arm and have him work his magic, but I'll have to put, it's already hollow, even though the piece is quite heavy. The head and the bust and the arms are stoneware, and they are hollow, but they're still quite heavy. They're probably about 1/4 of an inch thick, at least. And so the next time, if I want him holding something in his hand, I'll have to make a hole in the hand. Sissy, you know what I'm talking about. To get electrical, whatever he does, so that would work. Yeah. Yes.
Helen, what is your plan? Are you going to sell these, or are they going to go in the church?
Well, nobody at the church except a few friends knows I'm even doing this, so I don't envision that. But yeah, I mean, once I've got a little repertoire, I probably will start showing them and offering them for sale. I won't be able to keep them all, that's for sure. I'll either have to sell them or give them away. Yes.
That was the cage type figure, that's a Santos?
Right, right.
Is there any chance that you could do anything like that in a doll figure and use those?
Oh, sure, it could be. It could just be a regular doll as well. But the Santos figures were meant mostly for churches and for altars and you know, things, chapels and things like that. And they were dressed very elaborately usually. And I did not have time to finish the clothing. In fact, I'm going to be remaking this garment underneath here in linen because I didn't care for the fabric that I chose. And I will be embroidering this entire thing that I'm calling a cope. So, but yes, usually those figures are very elaborately dressed in silks and velvets and...
Placed in a niche.
I'm sorry?
Placed in a niche.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, but even just the basics, and then let people do their own thing afterwards.
Sure, I mean, that's a possibility. Are you up for that, Thomas? I've already told them I need 6 cages to accommodate a 12-inch or a 14-inch figure, because this one's almost 30 inches. And it's really too big even for my home, and probably would be better in a chapel somewhere. But if I do them smaller, I feel like maybe I have a better chance of people wanting one in their own home. So, yeah. Any other questions?
I'm thinking angel-like figures that you could display in your home.
Absolutely, yeah.
And work on a smaller size.
Mm-hmm.
Go big,
Yeah, I still have not quite decided on wings. I'm leaning towards no wings because I think wings were just, angels are depicted with wings for us.
Yeah.
They don't need them
Right.
because they can be wherever they need to be just like that. So the wings are really, you know, to help human beings understand their mobility. So, besides, I don't know where I'd attach them on this piece. Anyway, that's where I'm headed. That's where I'm doing what I'm doing, and that was my cane. It always falls. It makes a huge noise. I hate the thing, but I need it because if I don't use it, I don't know if any of you will understand this reference. You young people won't for sure. You remember Gunsmoke?
Yeah.
Remember Chester? That's how I walk, without a cane. So that's why I need the cane, as much of a nuisance as it is. Where was I going with this?
Your cane dropped.
Yeah, before that. Does anybody remember? I don't.
How long have you been, I know you've been dreaming about this for a while, but how long did it take you once you were on a mission to create this figure? Was it a month, 2 months, 6 months?
Thomas, do you remember how long I've been working on this piece? So the way things work in my life, because I'm so busy with all the things that I have to do, that I started the clay probably about 4 months ago. And the clay has to be thoroughly, completely, absolutely bone dry before you put it in the kiln. Right, Sissy? Otherwise, you can have an explosion and lose all your work. So this, I fired at my kiln. It's now in our garage, as we moved out of our building where Thomas and I both had beautiful studios about 5.5 years ago. And I hadn't fired at my kiln since we moved. So, boy, I was on pins and needles firing that up for the first time. I had no idea whether this was going to come out in pieces or what, but it came out okay. And then I did the arms, the next thing. So I've been working on it, but not all the time, for about 4 months. And I'll probably have another month's work in the clothing before it's finished. Yeah. So, but I've got the next one will go faster, I think, because I've gotten my confidence back with the clay and with the kiln, and the desire is there. So.
Is there mobility in the arms at all?
Very slightly. It's really not meant to be repositioned. The upper part of the arm is wire, and the wire goes through the body. and into the arm, the lower arm, and it's covered with wool felt, white wool felt, and then stuffed. So there's not a lot of mobility there. But I'm thinking also about possibly modeling more of the figure and definitely doing the arms so that they're articulated, that I can put them in different positions. So we'll see how that goes. But each one will be a one of a kind. And that's also a challenge, especially when you're doing joints. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Mary, for working around. Thanks for inviting me. I've really had a wonderful week so far.
Could you stand up there for just a
Sure.
Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to pass out the souvenir dolls.